Shareholders of Equinix are smiling. The stock hitting an all-time high last month and is up 16% year to date. But can the momentum continue? I'm joined now by the company's CEO, Steve Smith. And Steve, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Good to be here. Thanks, Scott.
So what's driving the performance here, and can the stock keep up the momentum at least until the rest of the year?
Well, we think so. We're very fortunate that our business model and the purpose that we serve in the industry is to help companies adopt and get in the middle of the greatest trends in the history of technology. So we're in the middle of the cloud computing paradigm shift. We're assisting companies moving towards this Internet of Things shift. And generally speaking, any technology trend, we're a company that can help companies deploy their internet infrastructure, connect it globally, and we do that very, very well.
You call Equinix an internet infrastructure company.
Yes, there's several layers of service providers that help companies all over the planet. We tend to focus on big global companies.
Sure.
Because our company's all over the world. We have assets all over the world, and we can normally help any company in the biggest markets in the world to improve their performance, take cost out, and just help them move their traffic around the world.
And the stock, like we mentioned before, hitting an all-time high last month. I mean, how are you going to keep up the momentum in 2016?
Well, there's a lot of momentum in the business. Last quarter, we just delivered our 50th quarter of top-line sequential growth. So we've been doing this for quite a while. There's quite a track record here. There's a great management team. And again, we have a business model that's right squarely in the middle and playing at the intersection of these big technology trends.
Now, you also made acquisitions recently, both overseas. Telicity in Europe for $3.6 billion, and then BitIsle in Japan for about $280 million. So
Correct.
How are these acquisitions going to help Equinix grow?
This business is really about scale and reach. And today we have 105 data centers in 33 of the biggest markets in the world in 15 countries. These two acquisitions will take us to 150 data centers now available to our customer base in roughly 20 markets or 20 countries, and probably approaching now 40 big markets. And when you have scale and reach, and when you're dealing with global companies that have employees, customers, and revenue all around the world, you look very good to them in terms of an attractive choice to be able to put internet infrastructure in your facilities.
And you mentioned customer base. Who are your customers?
We service predominantly Global 2000 companies, so we look very attractive to a company that likes one process, one consistent experience around the world. And so we're dealing with the largest tech companies, the largest networks, some of the largest enterprises in the world, and we do some very unique things for many of these companies.
Can you give us a few names?
Sure. We've been dealing with all the biggest carriers in the world since the inception of the company. So we deal with the AT&Ts and the Verizons and the British telecoms and the Deutsche telecoms and the Chinese networks. And we have over 1,000 networks in our company as customers, and they help us move other customers' traffic around the world. We deal with all the biggest tech companies that are content providers and digital media companies like Google and Microsoft and AWS. So the biggest cloud providers in the world use us and many other providers to help them unfold the cloud access points and network nodes around the world. And then the next few years will be really, really focused on helping enterprises that are actually trying to get to the multi-cloud and to the hybrid cloud to help them accomplish that. Big pharmaceutical companies, big healthcare companies, big travel and transportation, oil and gas, all of these other companies that we refer to as enterprises.
Is that the next field, the next exciting part of this business?
Yeah, we've accumulated now in 17 years, 6,000 customers, 6,300. If we do this right over the next decade, we could have 20, 30, 40, 50,000 customers.
Now, you mentioned this earlier. I just want to highlight it again, but last quarter was your 50th quarter in a row of
sequential top-line growth.
Of revenue growth.
Yes.
Pretty impressive.
Yes.
You report earnings on October 28th. Last quarter we saw about a 10% jump in year-over-year revenue. What kind of revenue should we expect in this coming quarter?
Well, I'll just leave you with this. We've told the market that we're going to grow the company this year 15% top line year over year, and I feel good that we'll stay on track with that commitment to the market.
All right, Steve Smith, we'll be watching. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you, Scott. Good to see you.
I'm Scott Gamm, and you're watching The Street.